We start with number 41. So for number 41 class, the question is, what is the average manufacturing cost per unit? So basically what you should do here is to get the total manufacturing cost and divide it by the total number of units produced or units manufactured. And how much the total manufacturing cost in this problem? It's 1,500,000. And the total units produced or manufactured is 30. So basically, all you have to do is to divide 1,500,000 by 30, and that will give you the average manufacturing cost per unit. And that will give us 50. So the answer number 41 is alpha. What is the amount of ending inventory? So how many units were produced? 30, and we were able to sell 29,500. Considering that there were no units in our beginning inventory, the remaining units unsold would be 500. And you already know, class, that ending inventory is not to be measured at the sales price. It should be measured at its cost. And how much was the cost per unit, class? 50. So you multiply 50 by 500, you would get the cost of your ending inventory at 25,000. 43, what is the amount of gross margin? How do you solve for gross margin, class? This should be part of your stock knowledge already. Sales minus cost is selling price minus total sales minus cost of goods sold. Okay, so here it's important to use the number of units sold. How many units were sold? 29,500. Multiplied by the selling price of 85. Can you give me that figure, class? 2,507,500. Next, you deduct the total cost of goods sold, which was 29,500 times 50. How much is 29,500 times 50? 1,475,000. So 2,507,500 minus 1,475, that will give you 1,032,500. So the answer in number 43 would be delta. Alternative solution, class. You get your gross margin per unit or gross profit per unit, multiply it with the number of units sold. How much is our gross profit per unit? How do we solve that one? Selling price per unit minus cost per unit. So selling price of 85 minus cost per unit of 50, your gross profit per unit is 35. 35 times, very important, 29,500, not the 30,000. Okay, so 35 times 29,500, that will give you 1,032,500. And then number 44, which of the following companies is part of the service sector of our economy? Walmart are basically shopping centers, class. Banks are definitely service companies. General Motors are manufacturing. Amazon also merchandising. So the answer for number 44 would be Bravo. Basically, what is being tested here, class, is whether or not you know the difference between merchandising, manufacturing, and service companies. 45, which of the following companies is part of the merchandising sector of our economy? Merchandise, so meaning buy and sell at the same condition. General Motors is manufacturing. Intel, the same. Gap can be accounting firm is service. So the answer here is Gap, class. Retail companies are merchandising companies. 46, which of the following companies is part of the manufacturing sector? Nike could be manufacturing, class. Barnes and Noble would be merchandising. Law firms are service. Sears, I'm not even familiar with this name. But the answer here would be Nike, class. 47, service sector companies report. Definitely no merchandise inventory for service, class. Finished goods inventory, no goods involved in service sector. No materials inventory and work in process. So the answer here would be letter D. 48, manufacturing sector companies report. Manufacture, so meaning you will have materials, work in process, and finished goods. So the answer here would be letter C. So basically, you're asked to point out differences between the different kinds of companies. 49, for a manufacturing company, direct material costs may be included in definitely in the direct materials inventory, also in your work in process inventory and finished goods. All throughout the production process, materials would be included. So the answer in 49 would be delta. Number 50, for a manufacturing company, direct labor costs may be included in, not in direct materials class. Okay, once labor is already applied, that will now be the materials will now be transferred to work in process. And of course, your finished products cannot be finished without labor. So your answer here would be letter C. 51, for a manufacturing company, indirect manufacturing cost may be included in, definitely not in your direct materials inventory, can already be included in your work in process, and definitely also included in finished goods. Okay, so basically class, when there is already conversion cost, what are your conversion costs class? Labor or overhead. Okay, so once there is already conversion cost, it will no longer be part of the direct materials. It will already go to your work in process, and once it's completed, it will go to your finished goods inventory. So the answer again in 51 is Charlie. 52, for a manufacturing company, the cost of factory insurance is classified as A. Definitely not direct material class, also not manufacturing labor. Insurance can be period cost, but if it's an insurance on the factory class, then that can be part of your overhead cost. So the answer number 52 would be Charlie. Number 53 class. For a printing company, the cost of paper is obviously a direct material class. So these are easy questions class, but this does not simply require memory recall. You have to think. Even the thinking required is not that deep. So you should be able to get these kind of questions. Let's have 54. Basically, we're classifying costs already. 54, wages paid to machine operators on an assembly line are classified as, nobody should answer material class. Okay. Wages can be part of direct or indirect labor. If it's direct labor, then that would be direct labor. If it's indirect, then that will be part of your overhead. But if the wages are paid to persons operating the machine used in the production class, then that will be considered as a direct labor cost class. So the answer in number 54 would be Bravo. 55, manufacturing overhead costs in an automobile manufacturing plant most likely include overhead. Okay, labor cost of the painting department can easily trace the cost, the labor applied by these employees class, so that may not be part of your overhead. That will go to your direct labor cost. Indirect materials, of course, will not be part of your direct material cost, but will fall under overhead class. Indirect materials and direct labor will go to your overhead class. Sales commission, no. Sales commission is already post-production class, so definitely not part of your manufacturing cost. Steering wheel cost, which is a component of your product, will be part of your direct materials. So the answer here would be letter B. 56, manufacturing overhead costs are also referred to as indirect manufacturing cost. Again, prime costs class are composed of direct materials and direct labor. Conversion cost, again, direct labor and overhead. 57. What is work in process? Geely Incorporated reported the following information. On January 31, 20X3. So basically, we are in the month of February class. So the January 31 information here will be considered as our beginning inventory. So the relevant period here is the period of February. During February, the following costs were added to production. Okay, so you add the 10,000 to job 101, but job 102 and 103 were not present as of January 31 class. What does that mean? This was only started in February. Okay? Job 101 was started in January, continued in February. Was it completed in February class? Yes, as provided in the last part of the problem. How about job 102? Started only in February. Was it completed in February? Yes. But the problem is it was not yet sold. Job 103 class started in February and still incomplete by the end of February. So basically, we're only dealing with 3 job orders class. So if we're talking about work in process, what's our definition for work in process? Those that have already been started but not yet completed. Is job 101 completed? So should this still form part of your work in process? No. How about 102? Was it already completed? Yes. Okay, should that still form part of your work in process? Even though it was not yet sold? Yes, since it was already completed, not part of work in process. Where should it form part, class? It should form part of your finished goods inventory. Job 103, finished. Not yet finished. So our work in process by the end of February will only compose of job 103. And how much was the cost in job 103? 7,000. No need even to compute, class. You just have to use your eyes. So the answer in 57 would be 7,000. What is finished goods inventory? Was job 101 finished? So should it form part of your finished goods inventory at the end of February 28? No, because what will remain in your finished goods, class? Only those that were not yet sold. So was job 101 completed? Yes, but not unfortunately. Fortunately, it was already sold, so it will no longer form part of your finished goods. How about 102? Finished? Yes, but was it sold? No, so where will it go? Finished goods inventory. And how much was it? 8,000. How about 103? No, we've already determined that job 103 will go to your work in process. So we only have one item forming part of our finished goods, and that would be job 102. So the answer here would be 8,000. 59, what is the cost of goods manufactured? What have we manufactured? Job 1 and 2. So when we talk about cost of goods manufactured, class, this is the amount of cost that will be transferred from your work in process to your finished goods inventory. Okay. So what happened to job 101? It was started and completed. So it will be transferred to your finished goods. Okay. The same for your job 102. But your job 103 will not be part of your cost of goods manufactured, but because it is not yet completed. So our cost of goods manufactured will only be composed of job 101 and 102. But you have to be careful. In answering this one, you will have to include the cost of your beginning inventory. So one possible pitfall here, class, will be for you to just say that the answer is simply 10,000 plus 8,000. Fortunately, that is not among the choices. So what would be the complete composition of our answer, class? Job 101, but not only at 10,000, but 13,000. 10,000 plus 3. Does everyone see where we got the 3,000? Yes, the cost of the beginning inventory. Then you add job 102 of 8,000. The answer here would be 21,000. What is the cost of goods sold for February? What goods were sold, class? Only 101. And how much was the cost of job 101? 13,000. So the answer there would be letter C. Next, is number 61 still part of the problem? Yes. Gross margin. Again, how do we solve for gross margin? Selling price minus cost. And again, we're only dealing with one item here, and that is job 101. How much was the selling price for job 101? 18,000. Given class, 18,000. And we know that the cost of job 101 is 13,000. So there will be a gross margin or gross profit of 5,000. So the answer, number 61, would be 5,000. Number 62, the income statement of a manufacturing firm reports period cost only, no. Inventoriable cost only, no. Definitely, it will report both period and inventoriable cost. The answer here would be letter C. 63, the income statement of a service sector firm reports everything is the answer here, class, would be period costs only. Since you do not keep any sort of inventory, class, you will not have any inventoriable cost. 64, manufacturing costs include all except. You should know this already. Your manufacturing cost would be composed of we're looking for the except class. So cost incurred inside the factory, yes. Direct and indirect cost, yes. Variable and fixed cost, yes, so long as they are related to manufacturing. But definitely, period costs are not part of your manufacturing cost. So the answer, number 64, is delta. 65, inventoriable costs. Administrative expenses, class, definitely not inventoriable. Inventoriable costs are not expense, class. Okay, but they will be reported as cost of goods sold when? In the period in which they are sold. So letter B can be correct. But just to be sure, let's go over the other choices. Are particularly useful in management accounting. If we're talking about management accounting, our concern would be more on your sales and inventoriable cost. No, it would be more on the behavior cost, on variable and fixed, not necessarily on inventoriable or not. Are also referred to as non-manufacturing. Definitely not. Inventoriable costs are related to manufacturing costs. So the best answer here would be Bravo. 66, inventoriable costs are expense on the income statement. Related to number 65, not when they are purchased, class, not when they are manufactured, but only when they are sold. So the answer, number 66, would be Charlie. 67, costs that are initially recorded as assets and expense when sold. We're circling the same concept. Plus, the answer here would be Bravo, inventoriable cost. Plus, our goal, klasa, is to try to encounter as many questions as we can because we do not want to commit mistakes on questions we have already encountered. If we commit mistakes, it should be on what kind of questions? Difficult questions which we have not yet encountered. Even if it's difficult, class, if you have already encountered it, you should be able to answer it still. Easy questions which you have already encountered, unforgivable to get them wrong. Easy questions, even though you have not yet encountered them, you are still expected to get them right. Your mistakes should only come from difficult questions you have not yet encountered. 68 for merchandising companies, inventoriable costs include, the answer here would be all of the above. 68 delta. For manufacturing firms, inventoriable costs include, inventoriable meaning it will be part of the cost of the inventory. Plant supervisor class will be inventoriable, but just to be sure, go over all the other choices. R&D may be period costs. Cost of dealing with customers after, again, after sale costs will not be inventoriable. Distribution costs are also after product. These are already after production class, so not part of your inventoriable cost. So the answer here would be letter A. 70, a plant manufactures several different products. The wages of the plant supervisor can be classified as, it will be difficult to trace it to the product class, especially if you have several products. So that will not be a direct cost, but definitely still part of the production process, so that can be inventoriable. And normally, class, the salaries or the wages of the plant supervisor would not be variable but fixed, regardless of the level of production. Period cost, no, it can be capitalized, or it will form part of your cost of inventory. So the answer for number 70 would be bravo. 71, the cost of inventory reported in the balance sheet may include all of the following, except, so we're looking for an item that is not inventoriable. And again, class, if it's after sales already, class, definitely not inventoriable anymore. And that is exactly what your customer service costs are. These are after sales costs. Wages of plant supervisor, as explained earlier, is part of your manufacturing cost. The same for your depreciation of factory equipment and cost of parts, which would be your direct materials. So the answer here would be letter A. 72, for a computer manufacturer, period costs include, period cost class meaning they would be expensed outright class. The keyboard is a direct material since what we are producing is a computer. Labor used for assembly and packaging would be direct labor. Distribution class is already post-production, so this would be not inventoriable. This would be expensed outright. So the answer here must be letter C. Okay, the depreciation in your assembly line equipment would be inventoriable. So again, the answer should be letter C. 73, period costs include only fixed costs? No. Seldom influence financial success or failure? No. Include the cost of selling? Yes. Delivering and after sales support for customers. So the answer here would be letter C. Letter D is wrong because in the first place, it should not be part of your manufacturing cost. 74, period costs are treated as expense in the period they are incurred. That's basically the definition of your period cost. Directly traceable? No. Include direct labor? No. Manufacturing overhead cost? Also no. 75, which of the following is not a period cost? So meaning we're looking for an inventoriable cost. Marketing? No. If it's related to selling class, it's not an inventoriable cost. General administrative, generally period costs. R&D, generally not inventoriable class. The only correct answer here would be letter D. 76, costs, expense of the income statement in the accounting period incurred. Another definition for your period cost. Answer for number 76 is period cost. 77, prime cost. We've mentioned this already. Is your direct materials and direct labor. So answer is letter A. 78, conversion cost. We've already mentioned this. Labor and overhead. Direct labor and overhead. So the answer here would be bravo. 79, total manufacturing cost would be, the correct answer here is letter B. Letter A is wrong because in letter A, redundant C, materials, and missing C, overhead. Letter C is wrong because duplicated C, labor, and missing C, overhead. Letter D is wrong because duplicated C, labor, and missing C, direct materials. That is why I always have to remind students, your total product cost class is not equal to prime cost plus conversion cost. Your total product cost is materials plus labor plus overhead. But it's not prime cost plus conversion cost, because if you do that, you are duplicating your direct labor. We are in number 80 already. The cost classification system used by manufacturing firms include all of the following, except direct materials and conversion costs, direct materials cost, labor cost, overhead. Those are correct. Indirect materials cost, indirect manufacturing labor cost, and manufacturing overhead. No, they all pertain to one and the same classification, which is your overhead cost. Prime cost and manufacturing overhead cost. That's correct. The answer then is letter C, Charlie. 81, manufacturing overhead costs may include all except manufacturing. Okay, so this should be materials, labor, and overhead. But we're looking for the one that is not. So one that is not materials, labor, or overhead. Salaries of the plant, janitorial staff. It's not indirect cost because it's salaries of the janitorial staff. But since the janitorial staff is assigned in the plant, this will still form part of your indirect labor. So still part of your manufacturing overhead cost. Sorry, we're not looking for materials class because what we are specifically looking for are overhead costs lang. Okay, we're not looking for direct materials and direct labor. Basically, we're looking for overhead and indirect materials and indirect labor. Labor that can be traced to individual products, so that is direct labor, so that will not form part of your overhead. So that will be the answer. Wages paid for unproductive time, that is definitely your overhead. Overtime premiums paid to plant workers, that will be considered as indirect labor class, so that will not be the answer unless it can be directly traced to the products. Okay, but definitely the best answer here would be Bravo. 82, debated items that some companies include as direct manufacturing labor costs. Okay. The answer here would simply be all of the above. 83, this one will require greater thinking than usual. Brenda Hicks is paid 10 an hour for straight time and 15 an hour for overtime. 1 week she worked 42 hours, which included 2 hours of overtime. Compensation should be reported as 42 hours class times the normal hourly rate of 10. You will have 420. Then you will have a premium of 5 class. Do you get why it's 5? Because your regular rate is 10 and your overtime rate is 15. So the premium is 5. And how many hours of overtime did you work? 2 hours. So you will have overtime premium of 10. Now the question is, what do you do with this 10? Will this still form part of your direct labor, or will this already form part of your overhead? This will go to your overhead class. Since this will already be considered as abnormal costs class, normally abnormal costs or those beyond the normal levels class will go to your overhead. So premiums will go to your overhead. That's why if you go back to number 81, the best answer is letter B. Okay, but of course, their regular work pay would still be considered as direct labor. So the answer here would be letter C. 84. Rodney Worsham is paid 10 an hour for straight time and 15 an hour for overtime. 1 week, he worked 45 hours, which included 5 hours of overtime and 3 hours of the time caused by material shortages. What's the question? Compensation would be reported as how many hours did he work, class? Another thing we have to consider now would be what would be the treatment for idle time, class. Can you directly trace idle time to your product, class? No, so these should not form part of your direct labor. So how many hours was he idle, class? 3 hours. So out of the 45, how much was spent directly working on the product, class? Only 42. And how much is the regular rate? 10. So you will have 42 times 10, and that would be the amount that will go to your direct labor. And that gives us the answer already. But how do we get the 55 manufacturing overhead? Okay, those that are not directly traceable, class, will go to your overhead. So 3 hours of idle time times 10, you will have 30. And then you will have overtime premium of 5. How did we get the overtime premium of 5 per hour? The difference between the overtime rate and the regular rate of 15 and 10. So 5 per hour times 5 hours of overtime, that will give you 25. So the 55 will be part of your indirect cost, so therefore part of your manufacturing overhead. 85, which of the following formulas determine cost of goods sold? Everyone should master this already by heart, class. Beginning plus purchases minus ending. So the answer there would be Bravo. Imagine this question coming out in the CPALE, class. No, you'd be embarrassed to pass such kind of an exam. 86, which of the following formula determine cost of goods sold in a manufacturing entity? Okay, start with, let's go over the choices. Beginning work in process plus cost of goods manufactured. No. It should be manufacturing cost minus ending work in process to give you your cost of goods manufactured. A is wrong. Beginning work in process plus cost of goods manufactured plus ending. No, if you already have your cost of goods manufactured, do not include na your beginning work in process. Just add. If you add ending work in process, that will just be your total manufacturing cost. Still wrong. Cost of goods manufactured minus beginning finished goods. No, that should not be minus. Letter D, cost of goods manufactured plus beginning finished goods inventory, yes. Minus ending finished goods is equal to your cost of goods sold. The answer in number 86 is delta. 87, cost of goods sold. What's given? Beginning work in process, yes, may be useful. What do we add to the beginning work in process, class? Oh no, if you already have our cost of goods manufactured, we don't have to touch the work in process anymore. So cost of goods manufactured, add it with beginning, ending inventory. Is that given? Sorry, not beginning beginning finished goods. So 1220 plus 180 minus ending finished goods of 195. That will give you 1,205,000. Or a simpler way of solving this so that you will not need a calculator, class, is to get the change in your finished goods inventory. How much is the change in your finished goods inventory? It increased by 15. So that means if finished goods inventory increased, that means cost of goods sold is lesser than the cost of goods manufactured. by how much? 15. So all you have to do is to deduct 15 from 1,220,000. 88, same question, the same given class, the same, only the figures are different. What happened to our finished goods inventory? This time it decreased by how much? 2,000. What does it mean if your ending finished goods inventory decreased? The cost of goods sold is greater than the cost of goods manufactured. So all you have to do is to add 2,000 to your 246. So this would be 240. We are now in number 89. I have 5% class. Maybe we can finish this. 89. What is the cost of goods manufactured? What's given? Beginning finished goods. Yeah, this time we have to work back. We're given the cost of goods sold. What's the change in our finished goods inventory class? It increased or decreased? Decreased by 13. What does it mean if ending finished goods, if finished goods inventory decreased? That means cost of goods sold is greater than the cost of goods manufactured. What did I say? Cost of goods sold greater? Yes. So that means we will have to deduct the difference from 270. So 270 minus 13 will give you how much? 257. What is the gross margin? Formula for gross margin or gross profit? Sales minus cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold given? Yes. Sales revenue given? Yes. So what's the challenge in this question? None. The answer is 230,000. What is operating income? Operating income would be your gross profit minus OPEX. We've already solved for gross profit class. Yes, 230. OPEX given? Yes, all you have to do is deduct 145 from 230. That will give you 85,000. I doubt your exams will be this easy. Maybe because we're just still at the introductory part. Cost of goods manufactured, the same set of given class except for the amounts. What happened to your finished goods? Increased, decreased. Also decreased, so nothing, no difference from the previous problem. Cost of goods, if ending finished goods, if finished goods inventory decreased, that means cost of goods sold is greater. So all you have to do is to deduct 7 from 250. That will give you 243. So you're just asked to exercise your fingers. Gross margin, sales minus cost, both given. Simply 350. What is operating income? 350 minus OPEX of 120. That will give you 230. Variable cost per unit. Is direct materials variable? Yes. Is direct labor variable? Yes. Is variable manufacturing overhead variable? Of course. So we have 60, 10, and 18. Is our sales commission generally variable class? Yes, since they are based on percentage of sales. Are we going to include this? Yes, because we are not asked for variable manufacturing cost. What is asked? Variable cost. So that means this would be 60 plus 10 plus 18 and 4. So the answer here would be 92. What would be the reason if you answered 88 class? You have wrongly thought that you were asked for variable manufacturing cost. What's the next question? What are the fixed costs per unit associated with the product? We have fixed manufacturing overhead and the administrative salaries. So that would be 32 plus 16, which is 40. 97, what are the inventoriable costs? So that should just, it should just be those costs that are related to production or manufacturing. And in the problem, they are materials, labor, and both variable and fixed manufacturing overhead. Are we asked for the per unit here? Yes, so this would be 60 plus 10 plus 18 plus 32. That would be 120. Next, number 98. What are the period costs? Okay, so those that are not inventoriable, and these would be those that are not related to production. So this is it per unit again. Yeah, so this would be the 4 and the 16. So our answer would be 20. 3%. Same kind of problem. What are the variable cost per unit? Again, don't forget to include variable period cost. Okay, so 40 plus 8 plus 12, that's 60 and 6. That would be 66. So the answer would be 66. Fixed cost per unit, fixed manufacturing and administrative salaries, you will have 23 plus 9. That would be 32. What are the inventoriable costs? So only those that are related to production, 48, 12, and 23, 35, 75, 83. Is it 83? Yes. What are the period costs per unit associated with product ORD 203, sales and administrative salaries? So that would be 15. We are now in 103. Period costs may refer to inventoriable cost for external reporting, yes. Design cost plus manufacturing cost for government contracts, yes. All costs incurred along the value chain, yes. Answer here would be delta. 104 product costs used for pricing and product mix decisions generally include, answer here class would be Charlie class. 105 product costs used for government contracts generally include design cost plus manufacturing. 106 product costs used for external reporting generally include manufacturing cost only. 107 inventoriable costs for external reporting purposes are also referred to as product costs. 108 for external reporting, answer here would be costs are classified as either inventoriable or period cost. 109